Yes, people, what's happening? Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Welcome back to what is going to be the preview for the North London Derby. Now, I don't normally do previews one-on-one on this show because it is 12th man, which means there's all sorts of shows going on. But I did the show earlier with all of the Premier League boys, so make sure you check that one out. That was out earlier. We discussed all things, and it was a really good show, actually. It's a massive, passionate rant from Dave, Forest fan. Big up to Dave about goings on at his club at the moment. So make sure you go check that one out, people. Well worth a watch and a listen. Really does make you think about what life is like when you support a football club that really is letting them down at the moment. So please make sure you go and take a look and check that one out. Big up to my boy Deji in the house. It's obviously North London Derby. How are you, bruv?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a minute. I haven't been able to be on the show because of work commitments, but hopefully this week, moving forward, I'll be back. Starting from this weekend, to be honest. Once Tottenham do the business against your boys, I might even be taking over your London show, Dan. So don't get too happy. But no, on the jokes aside, man, it's been hectic, but delighted to be back.
Nah, listen, it's always a pleasure having you, my bro. And it's all banter, but it's all good love. And listen, this weekend is gonna be war, bro. I can't lie to you. You want to do all you can to ruin our title chances. Arsenal want to definitely dunk on you to make sure that don't happen, because all Arsenal fans know that if that does happen, it's going to be a very, very tough week upcoming for Arsenal, because not only will our title race be out, it will be Spurs that pretty much dumped us out of it. Although, I will say this, I still have Man City to win all of their 5 games now, because they're winning tonight easily.
Yep.
Again,
Yep.
I must say, I'm going to use your term now, a dusty Brighton side
Yeah.
that is as dusty as, what is it? Tutankhamun's coffin. That's the
Dusty
one.
is Tutankhamun, mate. And there's a lot of
They
dusty
are
clubs.
dusty,
There's
dusty,
a,
dusty club.
there's
Jeez,
a,
you think they're
yeah.
dusty, Brighton? Dusty to you?
Yeah, I mean, Brighton this season haven't really been the same. I know some people in and around the Brighton Football Club, and De Zerbi is a little bit of a character. I think he wants out, to be honest with you. Last season was really a season for him to kind of showcase what he wants to do, and he's hoping for a big move. And so it doesn't surprise me. Brighton have failed to deliver, flattered to deceive. And I have to say, even by Brighton standards, it's been a bloody dusty season. So for them, people like what's the geezers now, Welbeck and co. See you in
Mm.
Jamaica, mate. Do you know what I mean? See you in Jamaica. You might as well start booking your holiday tickets from now.
Hey, on the beach, man. On the beach.
Literally.
Listen, before we do go into it, because it is going to be a massive weekend, make sure you do us a favor, people. Make sure you smash a like on this. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for allowing us to hit 18K overnight. We're going to try and get to that 20K pretty soon, and we're getting closer and closer. So please make sure that you hit like and subscribe on this one, because that really does mean so much. Make sure links in the description for Deji's channel as well. Deji Spurs. Just type
Yeah.
Deji Spurs in YouTube and you're there. So make sure that you do that. And please make sure you go over to Football Prizes. Football Prizes have got unbelievable competition offers for you. Make sure that you are in it to win it for hospitality. The last game of the season, Arsenal versus Everton. Is that going to be the chance for see Arsenal winning the Premier League title and lifting the trophy? Deji hopes not. I hope so. There's also a chance for you for 195 to be in with a price, not only for those 2 club level hospitality tickets for the last game of the season, but also with a chance to get the LED lit version of the Mikel Arteta shirt with the number 1 on his back. So make sure that you're in that to win it. For all you Wolves fans out there, £3.95 for Wolves memorabilia as well. And it's not just football. There's unbelievable chances for you just for 79p to win memorabilia of all sporting heroes and opportunities to win prizes as well. So make sure you go over to footballprizes.co.uk. Link is in the description, and there's all sorts of prizes for all clubs. Liverpool's here. Even the Celtic Legend shirt is there. You've got an opportunity for hospitality tickets to the FA Cup final, which of course will be the Manchester FA Cup final again. So please make sure that you come over to footballprizes.co.uk and make sure you're in it to win it. Now, Deji, let's talk, my bro. Before we go into the North London Derby, I wanted to get your thoughts on this title race, because 3-horse race, some people are now saying is a 2-horse race. They've written Liverpool off after last night's loss in the Merseyside Derby. So where are you at with that? Are Liverpool done and dusted now, and is it Arsenal City? Where do you see this one, man?
Yeah, look, I have to agree, mate. I think it is really now between Arsenal and City. Liverpool have done me a disservice, mate. I don't know what's gone on, because now is not the time for you to be messing up. But now is not the time for Liverpool to be allowing bloody Everton to win and beat them after what, 14, 15 years? I mean, it's absolute disgrace, to be honest with you. And I just feel like with the way that they whimpered out of the Europa League, the way that they got slapped up by Everton, the way they've been performing in the league the last 2 weeks, something isn't right. Obviously, they know that Daddy's leaving. And usually, I thought the Liverpool players wanted to give Dad a show. I thought they wanted to, you know what, let's give this brother some sort of legacy, some sort of farewell, some sort of all or nothing, so that in many years' time, he can look back on his final Premier League campaign and say, what a campaign. But what those boys have done is nothing short of disgraceful, because they've just literally just given up. You know what I mean? They've given up. And for me, the two teams that look like they're serious about this title is Arsenal and Man City, to be honest, because Liverpool's performances have just been poor. I would have accepted them whimpering out of the Europa League, because by their standards, it's not a good enough trophy. It's a dusty trophy. You won't be seeing any Liverpool fans shaking their bum violently for the Europa League. So maybe they put all their eggs in one basket, as it were, and go for the Prem. But the way that they're, just flopping the show, I can't really see Liverpool coming back. I mean, Arsenal 3 points clear with same games played. I think Arsenal have an easier run of games after the Spurs game than Liverpool. I really can't see Liverpool coming back. The only team, it's Arsenal v Man City, basically.
Yeah, listen, I can't really disagree. It's mad to think, though, innit, that they're only 3 points behind, and it's like, yep, that's them done and out of it. They're 2 points going to be ahead, potentially, Man City, if they win their games in hand. Yep, it's done and dusted. It's mad to think how good Man City side is, man.
Do you know why? If this was the beginning of the season, nobody would say it's done and dusted. But from what you did last summer, the movie, that at the tail end of the season, it's all about momentum. Yeah. And one of the reasons why people fear City is because usually at this time of the season, they win game after game after game after game. Critical thing being they gain momentum, and it's that momentum that carries them over to the finish line. The scary thing for me as a Spurs fan is that Arsenal have momentum. You've built up momentum, you're getting good results, and you haven't slowed down. If you think, take our mind back to West Ham when you slapped those guys up 6-0. You guys have really kept on. Well, yeah, that team is the dustiest there. If you think Brighton's dusty, check the wardrobe over at the London Stadium. Cobwebs everywhere. But you've kept the momentum. The Bayern Munich game, or games, what you can call it, European football, you went out on pens. It's no big deal. Do you know what I mean? But in the Prem, okay, you had the little blip against Villa. Teams, you can lose an off game. You can have a one-game defeat. But momentum-wise, you've kept it going. So it looks like Arsenal and Man City got the momentum in the tail end of the season. And whereas Liverpool, they've flopped. It's going to take them 2-3 games to get back up to speed. And they just don't have 2-3 games left. Because how many games have we got left? What was it, 5 games for Liverpool now to go to the end of the season? 4 or 5 games?
4. Yeah.
4 games. Yeah. I mean, if it takes them 2-3 games to get back, the season's done.
Well, listen, big up to D in the chat. D saying, heads up, Potts, there's still 5 minutes to go. Who knows what Brighton might have come back. Brighton is not a team that you like, my friend. Seagulls versus Eagles. Is that the actual rivalry, D? Like, it's actually the worst rivalry in football, isn't it, really? Brighton versus Palace. I mean, crikey. Bloody hell. If that's a derby, oh, wow. But big up to D, man. Make sure you go and subscribe to D, Back of the Nest podcast, man. Yeah. Make sure you go show him some love.
The derby of the birds.
Well, listen, birds of prey. Seagulls. Mate, listen, you guys are going to have a big say in this now, right? Because no matter what happens this weekend, you got to play Liverpool, Arsenal and City, haven't you? So Spurs, they're going to have a big say on what happens. Now, I think this weekend it's going to be war. But against City and Liverpool, let's be real, I think you're pretty much going to get Champions League nailed on, in my opinion, because this 5th place could still happen, right? So I think you might roll over.
How can the 5th place still happen? How?
Because I think that I was looking the other day, Billy was telling me Villa win their competition, and apparently it can still happen. I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, then you could be all right. Now, you could still get 4th, Villa could still mess up,
Yeah.
but let's be real. If you don't, it's 5th place. But I don't know that you're really too fussed, right? If it gets to that stage and it's like, can't really get 4th, I think it might roll over a bit for Liverpool and City. I might be wrong. Now, Ange Postecoglou isn't the type to do that. And I don't think he has the squad that it wants to do it. But I bet the fan base are like, yeah, we don't care. We just don't want Arsenal to win it. So that's where I'm at. So that's why we've got to get the business done this weekend, man.
You got to get the business done. But under my gaffer, under my club, there is no way that we're rolling over for the Three Musketeers. Bun that. Forget that, mate. And let me tell you why. We want to know whether we can go toe-to-toe. Now, I've told you this before. I said that Tottenham's first 11 can go toe-to-toe with, Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool. And these next 3 games will prove whether I was right or wrong. Forget the Newcastle and all of those results. I already told you Spurs struggled to get it up against minnow teams. And that's part of the reason why we've seen some poor performances in some of the games towards the tail end. But also, this is very much a test and learn season. We've been testing formations, we've been testing different players, and we know that there's a lot of gaps. I've been speaking to a lot of Spurs fans, and we know that there's gaps in and around the squad that we are hoping that over the summer that we can kind of patch up. But in the meantime, let's see how far we are supposedly behind Arsenal. Let's see how far we are behind Liverpool. Let's see how far we are. Don't be surprised, Dan, if Spurs slap out all 3 teams, mate. I've been telling you this for months. What I'm telling you tonight is not new. And I guess you were kind of part of the reason for the invite tonight was because you slapped up Chelsea, you thought there might be a change in my narrative. There ain't no change in my narrative, mate. I'm expecting a good game. The only dodgy thing for Spurs this weekend is the fact that we haven't got our star boy, our whiz kid, or what we call burner boy in the sense of Udogie. Udogie's gone off injured for the rest of the season.
You're a star boy now, yeah?
Mate, I think Udogie, I think he's in your Premier League 11 of the season so far. I'd be very surprised if he's not in your Premier
League. He is, but star boy, I'm not hearing star boy from anybody.
If Saka is star boy, then Udogie is bloody whiz kid. Do you get what I'm saying, mate? He's that bloody good.
Defensively, he's not great though, yeah? Defensively, not great, I hear. Good going forward.
You know what's happened? What's happened is there's been some stuttering at the back. Yeah? Players can go off form. Van der Ven's had one bad game and all rival fans are shaking their bum. Ha, ha, ha. Shut up, mate. He's had one bad game in his first season in the Prem, and he's bloody 20, 21 years old. So everyone just needs to settle themselves and calm themselves.
He got a nice somersault, though. 10 out of 10 for the somersault, bro.
Well, you can give him 10 out of 10, mate, but let's be real. He's had one bad game, though. I rate him. So Udogie is missing, and I think for me, I'm hoping that Postecoglou does the right thing. What we know, having gone back to the Wolves game, is that he can't play Ben Davies left back. If he plays Ben Davies left back, then we're finished.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this now. Ben Davies plays, I'm rubbing my hands together.
Yeah, Ben Davies plays, I'll rub my hands together for you because it's over.
I was speaking to Henry and Sean earlier on Judge's channel, right? They were saying that they play Van der Ven left and then have what's his name, Dragusin and Romero in the middle, because Dragusin's really good in the air, and Van der Ven obviously has got the pace and can play in the left-hand side. But I don't know, man. I don't know what other options you've got, man. Ben Davies or who? Like, is it Van der Ven? Is it Emerson Royale play over there or something?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I can see Postecoglou playing Emerson Royale left. Emerson Royale, I have to say, I know people like to run joke on him. He's actually a decent squad player. He can do a job. What you need on the left-hand side is pace. Someone who can just, almost man-mark Saka and just give Saka a bit of a rough time. Can Emerson Royale do that? Yes, he can. What he can't do with Emerson Royale on the side that is not his natural position to play is ask Emerson Royale to play the inverted role. Because if Emerson Royale plays the inverted role, Saka will be in Akers' space. And just like how I like to criticize your other star boy in Zinchenko, we will be getting ripped on that left if Emerson Royale goes for walkies. I don't see Ben Davies starting. And I don't see Draguzin starting because Draguzin as a left centre-back has been a bit suspicious this season. Draguzin's favoured position is right centre-back. He's not going to take that over Romero. It's better to leave the centre-back pairing of Romero, Van der Ven for this. Pedro Porro, we hear that he's back. And then we're going to do Emerson Royal. Just don't go forward. Stay left back. Push Saka off the pitch. Push him into the stands and frustrate him and get throw-ons. That's all he can do. If he tries to get excited, we will get punished. It's as simple as that.
You know what, right? I'm going to big up Emerson Royale defending one-on-one, right? Because I think he's all right. But when he's on the ball and he's going forward, he's stinky, man. He's stinky.
I'm saying he shouldn't go forward. I agree with you. That's why I'm saying don't go forward. But knowing Postecoglou says, I ain't going to change my ways. I'm not going to change the way that I play. All of that nonsense. And if that is the case, then we could be in trouble this weekend. Definitely in a lot of trouble. But apart from that, we've pretty much got our squad. I'm hoping that Maddison...
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about your midfield and your midfield three and your front three you think it will be.
Yeah, so look, if... I know Postecoglou watches this channel, so I'm going to just call it out.
He's in the background there already, man. He's looking
in the background. Big up, Postecoglou. We need you to bloody do the right thing this weekend. So what Spurs need to do is we need to stop messing about. I do not want to see Son playing the number 9. That is a disaster because it means Timo Werner would be on the left and Timo Werner against Ben White is a waste of our time and space. We might as well watch cricket because we know that nothing is going to come off that side if Timo Werner starts. So Son has to go against your Ben White because if Son goes up against Ben White, he will literally turn him around and make him look like Punch from Punch and Judy. I think Richarlison needs to go in the middle. He knows Gabriel Morales from their days at the Brazilian national team. Push him in the back, fly kick him in his chest, and Gabriel's out of our way and Richarlison gets a goal. And then on the left-hand side, I think we might have to go and revert back to Kulusevski. Kulusevski in terms of brawn, but because whoever you've got at left back isn't going to stop him, to be honest. Who have you got? Tomiyasu, not good enough. Zinchenko, not good enough. Who else are you going to probably give us on the left-hand side? Whoever it is, Kivior, not good enough. So it means Kulusevski can play.
It'll be Tommy. Tomiyasu's all right, man.
Whoever, light work. So, and then Brennan Johnson or Kuli, I don't really mind. Midfield, I really want to go toe-to-toe with you guys. Finally, we will see who is the dog between Basmati Rice and Pape Sarr. I've been talking Pape Sarr all season. People have been shaking their bum for Basmati. We will see which one of those two is going to have that midfield on lock. I would like to see Bissouma up against Partey. We've been doing theories. Partey is better than Bissouma. Look, Bissouma's been stinky. I'm not going to lie to him. Too much Louis Vuitton boots, too much Cristal in the club. The last 10 games means he's not played any decent football. Yes, Bissouma, I can do a better job than you and I haven't trained in years. But I'm hoping that he steps up to the mic and takes Partey out. And then we know that the true battle on the pitch. Who is the top dog? Who is the number 1, number 10? Is it your boy Odegaard or is it my boy Madders? Again, Madders has been another one that's been off form. But when the way he started the season, you would have said that Madders would have been in your Premier League 11, definitely over Odegaard. Let's see. I think that's an even battle. I think the midfielders are pretty much even battle, my bro. Even defensively.
This season, Maddison, this year, Odegaard's walked all over Maddison, though. You got to admit that. Since January, Odegaard's been one of the best attackers in the league, bro.
Say that again?
Odegaard. He's been one of the best attacking midfielders in the league.
I think what you need to do, Dan, is you need to calm down. When you say that he's been one of the best attackers in the league in recent games, he didn't start off the season like this. He's only come.
And Maddison has fallen off a cliff, bro.
Yeah, Madders had a terrible injury, bro. He's recovering. Oh,
I'll rate Maddison, but you can't tell me.
Was Odegaard injured?
Maddison, huh?
Has he been injured this season? Did he have a bad injury this season, Odegaard?
No.
Exactly.
Couple games out.
My players had terrible injuries. Maddison missed 11 Prem games, bro. And to be fair to him, he came back before his due date. Come on, bro. So that means if you come back before your due date, you might not be properly healed. I
So
reckon he's still
has he
healing.
been better than Odegaard then?
Not in the last, not since he's come back.
That's what I'm saying. And
But
I like Maddison.
I'm saying to you, part of the reason why he's not been better, you know, players carry knocks, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if Saka's carrying a knock. That's why he's been so dusty these last few games. Do you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if all things being equal, Madders is definitely levels above Odegaard. Let's just keep it real.
Mate, I think technically, Odegaard's better. And this is coming from a fan of Maddison. And I said, yeah, I think so. I think so. I think his vision is better. I think his vision is better than Maddison.
Nah, Maddison is a madman.
I think he's a better baller. I think he's got a baller. And this is coming from someone who rates Maddison.
Do you think Odegaard would have transformed my Spurs team? Do you think he would?
Nah, I think Spurs need a lot more than that, man.
Now, the way Madders came in and took to the Spurs squad like a duck to water, mate, you could tell he looks like he's been playing there for years. Do you think Odegaard could have done that at my club?
Yeah, I think Odegaard could have done what Maddison had done at Tottenham.
I'm not sure about
that. What's Mad? Then let's be serious then. What's Maddison got about his game more than Odegaard then?
I just think he's a more complete midfielder. I just think
you know
what? You know what? Let me not be disingenuous. I think they're both probably equal, but I just think Madders had just a little bit more killer instinct than Odegaard, and I think you would agree.
Because I agreed with you, right? Because I had this debate with Arsenal fans. I wanted Maddison badly. I wanted Maddison before we got Odegaard, right? I wanted Maddison big time. I wanted him instead of Havertz. I wanted him instead of Odegaard when we first got Odegaard. Now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? I've been muddied a bit with that statement because Odegaard's been class for the last 2 years, right? But if you look at the stats in terms of GA, Maddison's killed him in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years at Leicester and at Spurs, right? So I always thought to myself, I've got some justification to potentially question why Odegaard hasn't got those numbers. But in the last couple of seasons, Odegaard's been killing it. And to be fair to him...
Can I be real, though? Odegaard's been killing it. And look, what does Odegaard... I'm not being funny, but having played the game, one of the things... Football's also about having faith. You know, players won't come out and say it, but I'm going to come out and say it for Madders because I know Madders is watching this show tonight as well. When Odegaard looks to his left, he's got Martinelli or Trossard, who, arguably, when they're on form, you can say is safe pair of hands. I know Martinelli hasn't been his usual self, but 9 out of 10 times, Martinelli is a safe pair of hands. He's a good person to have on your left-hand side. And then he looks to his right, and he's got Saka. Yeah? Another safe pair of hands, quality player. So when you've got quality left and right, you have more freedom to be creative. You can do things, you can make passes without looking because you trust your flanks. Madders has come in January when he's come back. When Madders went off, before his injury, he had Son on the left, he had Richarlison up front, he had Kulusevski on the right, and it was working. And that's why we were top of the league. He's come back in 2024. When he looks to his left, he's got bloody Timo Werner who don't want the ball. Please don't give it to me. Please, because I don't want to get hurt, please. And then he's got bloody Brennan Johnson. Bruv, I'm not being funny. I don't trust those two. If I don't trust them, how is Madders? So I think Madders, part of his dip in form is because of what he's got left and right. And Son is playing out of position. Son should be on his left, but we're playing him in front of Madders, which means there's nothing because Madders likes to feed the wings, and the wings is just rubbish at Spurs. And to, dare I say, Kulusevski has been off form the whole bloody season. So I feel like you're not. If Madders was in Arsenal, you would have seen more of him this season, I reckon, because of the way that your team play.
I can't even deny. I can't even say that's a mad statement, right? To say that he'd be better in an Arsenal shirt. But this season, Odegaard, he has been. And like I've been said a few times, I like Maddison. I was actually gutted that he went to Spurs, right? I weren't a little bit peeved. I was gutted. I loved this. I love this guy, right? At Leicester, I thought he was quality, creating goals and assists were there, and I just liked him. And I think his drive is really good. But you look at what Odegaard has got, and he's just got that little bit of X factor about him, man. And I just think
it's easy to have an X factor when you are surrounded by quality players. I like to see Odegaard have that X factor. let's think of a dusty team. Chelsea, they're fully dusty. Do you think Odegaard would have the X factor in that squad? No, he wouldn't. I don't think he would shine at all because of the dustiness to his left and the dustiness to his right. So look, I give it to you. Given the circumstances, Odegaard has been good, but I would have to argue that we're on par. Madders and Odegaard are on par. It's just that he happens to be in a better squad at the moment than Spurs.
Listen, we're going to move, but that's a good debate to have. Maybe we'll come back to it on This Is London. Listen, let's talk about Arsenal quickly in terms of how we have been playing, because it looked pretty nasty for us, bro. I can't even lie, against Villa, and then we went out to Bayern, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Wolves, we just had to get the job done, and we did. They were a pretty dusty team. They had their players out. We got the job done. 2-0, we move. And then we blitzed Chelsea. Now, I ain't getting carried away like you think, because that's a terrible side, right? Chelsea are done out here, in my opinion. I think that club are literally finished. I think their ownership is a mess. I think their manager is overrated and always thought he was. I know Tottenham fans won't like that, but I think he's proving that. And the players are just a mess as well, right? So that club's all over the place. But on the ball, we looked pretty good. Now, our midfield...
What, against Chelsea or against Wolves?
So, against both, and I'll tell you why both. Because in the first half against Wolves, it was all right. It wasn't amazing. Second half, why it was so good and why Declan Rice clutched the player of the match was because Partey come on. And that excited me when he came on, because Declan Rice in the 8 was driving forward and making things happen. And then I said to my brothers, I said, listen, if we get this trio fit for now to the end of the season, in these next 4 games, they're going to cook. And that's what gives me the confidence against the remaining games we have, because that trio, I don't think there's many better in the league than that trio. When they're on fire, right? When they're on
fire, they're good.
When they're firing. Partey is quality, always has been. I just think he's injured and maybe people think he's done. But when he is fit, he's quality. Declan Rice has been one of our best players, if not the best player. And Martin Odegaard, we just mentioned. And they complemented each other so well against Chelsea. Because the thing is, you can sit there and say, like, it was dusty team, blah, blah, blah. I agree with all of that. You've still got to put the ball in the back of the net, and we did that.
It's hard. I don't know if you saw my clip, but, you know, I was on Northside's channel before the Chelsea game.
Big up
Northside. One of the things why I find it very difficult to give a kind of genuine review of Arsenal's performance against Chelsea, and please go back and watch it so you know this is not BS. I said in the show that Chelsea never turn up against Arsenal. It's almost as if they just pull their pants down, they lay over the kind of Arsenal's knees. They
at home, you mean? At the Emirates?
At home and away. At home and away.
Yeah, but away, we didn't even beat
Arsenal, spank me, please. Spank me, Arsenal.
Yeah, we didn't away this year. We drew 2-2.
I know, but bro, remember last season? Didn't Nketiah get 2 goals at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, that was the year before. Yeah.
I mean, come on, bro. When you're letting Nketiah get a brace at your ground, you know you're dusty, or you know there's a problem. So I can't respect Chelsea, and I find it. Look, you can only beat what's in front of you, but I can't shake my bum for the Arsenal result, because Chelsea always roll over for Arsenal. I never see them put in a decent performance. And then Arsenal fans say, come on, Spurs, watch Chelsea. Next week, Chelsea will put in a mad performance against Spurs. But the way let's be real, they rolled over for you on Tuesday. Said, spank me, Arsenal. Oh, spank me. Oh, yeah, to the left, please, to the left. It was a disgrace. What a disgraceful performance. But you guys played well and you did what you had to do. I think the only positive thing that I would like to say to you, and let's not, you know, we're both football fans here and we love the beautiful game, is that this is the point in the season where we know that you guys wobble. And at least your mentality, I think Arteta came out and said, look, he knows the boys really want to win. And you can see it in the way that you play, but you can see it even in their faces. And the fact that they went out and did that under that pressure, because you guys, including you, Dan, you're putting a lot of pressure on these boys. I think that's what's more impressive. The fact that they're going out and getting the results under immense pressure from the Arsenal fan base, which is disgraceful, to be honest with you, because they're little boys. And then we'll, you know, it's mad.
I know what you're doing, man.
From there, you know.
Listen,
but you know, you're doing your thing.
Let me say this: We got the momentum. You haven't. The reason is because Tottenham, let's be real, and let me have it. I'm not even being disrespectful here. Tottenham fans have actually needed another hobby this season because of the lack of games, because they've been dusty and haven't been able to get into Europe from last year. You've had to go and take up fishing or something. Because what's it been, 15, 16 days since you last lost and got spanked to Newcastle?
Yeah, it's about 15. It's about 15 days. Remember, Man City was playing.
Is that a good? Is that a good thing though? Because you've just sat there for 2 weeks.
Do you know why I think it's a good thing? Because sometimes when you have a dusty performance like the one we did against Newcastle, you need to kind of wallow in your self-pity. And those players, I don't want them to forget about that result. I didn't want them to have another game 3 days later that they can just dust it off. That performance against Newcastle was a disgrace. I want them to sit in that crap for 2 weeks so that they can come out all guns blazing against you guys on the weekend. What would be a disgrace, though, for Spurs fans is that after having 2 weeks off to think about their lives, to think about their career, to think about their clubs and family, if they allow you guys to come to our gaff and slap us up, that would be a disgrace. And for that reason, all of them should get removed from the club. But I'm hoping that the 2 weeks off was a blessing in disguise. Remember, for Spurs this season, we just needed to play better football. We are playing better football. If we get Champions League, it's a bonus. If we don't, it's totally fine. But Newcastle losing to Crystal Palace are pretty much guaranteed that whatever happens for Spurs this season, we're guaranteed Europa League. Would I be shaking my bum for Europa League this season? Of course not. But I'll take it. But to be honest with you, if the Tottenham players want to prove that they're legit, if they want to prove that we're going to be in a title race next season, then we have to get Champions League football this year. I don't care how we get it, but we have to get it. If not, then we have to stop talking.
Listen, man, we're gonna come to the last part, but do me a favor, people. There's 300 of you in here. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe, and head over to Deji Spurs and do the same thing, man. I want at least another 100 subs for Deji tonight over on his channel, people. So make sure you go do that because he supports the channel magnificently and he's a great lad. So make sure that you go do that, people. Listen, Deji, let's come into it, man. Like real talk. Before we get a prediction, Spurs season, Ange Postecoglou. Europa League football, no trophy, but what does it mean for his first season at the club? Are you positive or are you disappointed, bro?
Dan, you know what? And this is why I love being on your channel, because you ask some really good questions. And sometimes, especially for your fan base and all the Arsenal cronies in the chat, you know, they need to know about my club. Postecoglou said something at the beginning of the season. He said, judge me. I will know if I've done a good job if the Spurs fans are happy with me. And I think the majority of Spurs fans are happy with the job. We had 4 years of dusty football, dusty under Mourinho and fully dustier than Tutankhamun, bloody sandstorms under Conte. He's changed that in his first season. He's got us playing possession football. He's got us playing the inverted fullbacks. He's got us playing almost Man City-like. In fact, there's similarities between us. I reckon it's just that maybe we play a ridiculously higher line than you guys, but it's not been bad football. You know what I mean? And actually, you know, most neutrals will say Spurs and Arsenal probably play the best football in the league at the moment. So I'm happy with the job he's done. It's his first season. It's test and learn. He's not got all the players. You know, Postecoglou only brought in 3 players. 4. He brought in Van der Ven, Vicario, Madders, and Draguzin. Everybody else was there. So that's not even his squad. And you can't say 3 or 4 players is enough to change you from what happened last
season. I'll say this, right? And this is me being real. They've all been hits, you know.
Bruv, honestly.
Apart from I haven't seen enough of what's his name. I always get his name wrong.
Draguzin.
Yeah, I hadn't seen much of him. But the others, Maddison, Vicario, and Van der Ven, have been hits. And I know a doggy was not his signing, it was Conte's, right? Yeah, but he's come in and he's given him that chance. And to be fair to him, he's done well. Look, I'll tell you where I am with Ange, right? Just quick. Because I had Tottenham struggling this season, not because I didn't rate Ange, because I thought you'd struggle without Harry Kane. I've been proven wrong because similarly to when we lost Thierry Henry, and I'm not comparing the two, by the way, before the Arsenal fans lose their heads. For me, when we lost Thierry Henry in 2007-8, everyone was like, that's it. We're done. if it wasn't for Eduardo breaking his leg, we would have won the league that season, right? So we then started to play as a team. And I think Tottenham have actually played more as a team. I think Son's been a good captain for you. I do think that going forward, you've got some issues in terms of personnel still. But I think that if Ange Postecoglou can sort that out and be given some money, and that's the question mark from Levy, is Levy going to back this guy, or is he going to do what he did with Poch and not bloody give him any money? That's where you're at, bro. Because I don't think your 11 is like bad at all. I really don't.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Our 11 isn't bad, to be honest, but he made it not bad. He put Pape Sarr in when Conte had him on the bench. Conte sent back your doggy on loan. If you knew you had quality like that in your bloody you've just bought, why would you send him back on loan? Like dumbness like that. Do you know what I mean? But no, look, he's got us playing good football. He's come out with chest to say that Tottenham will be in a title race. That to me tells me that some of the missing gaps that Spurs fans complain about, he's probably identified those gaps in the summer, and we'll see those bought. Bearing in mind that we bought Vicario for like 20 mil, bro. We got Van der Ven for less than 40 mil, and we got Madders for 45 mil. So when people talk about is Levy going to back Postecoglou, he's going to back Postecoglou if he's spending below 40 mil per player. I mean, come on. 40 mil these days in the Prem is nothing. The issue with Daniel Levy was, were we ever going to spend 110 mil on a Caicedo? No, we're not. Are we going to spend 110 mil on Basmati Rice? No, we're not. But if we've got quality players for 30, 40 mil, we will do it. And I don't see anything wrong with that, because at the end of the day, it's about them doing a job. And we've seen the good job that Brighton have done, bringing in players for 3 or 4 mil and then selling them for a huge amount of money. So, yeah, I think Postecoglou's done well. No Spurs fan, Tottenham fans talk about he needs a plan B. I think that will come. I think as he gets more experienced in the Prem and he realizes that maybe this way of playing isn't always going to work, and sometimes you're going to need to tweak your game best in opposition. That comes with experience. That comes with getting burnt. I think he can turn around to be a cracking manager. But I think the first thing on Postecoglou's mind is he needs to get his style of play ingrained in the players, and that's his priority. That's why he keeps saying he's not going to change his game, because he wants it ingrained. Once it's ingrained and the players know it like the back of their hand, I think Spurs could be a really, really deadly teammate. One thing I will say on this channel, and I've never said it anywhere else, he will bring success to Spurs. But it depends where you sit on the pendulum as to success. So, for
obviously,
example,
not the domestic cups, because they're dusty. You said so. None
for me, the domestic cups are dustier than Tutankhamun's coffin. But for some Spurs fans, they would be happy with an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup.
But you only want a Europa, Champions League, or a league, yeah?
Yeah, it's got to be one of the big guns for me. And I think,
man. It's difficult,
I think Postecoglou can get Spurs one of those trophies in the next 3 to 4 seasons if he's still there.
So let me ask you this then: you have a brilliant summer in your eyes, yeah? Mm-hmm. Next season, what is the target for Tottenham? Are they going to be asked to be up there with the likes of City and Arsenal and Liverpool if they are still there with their new manager? Is that the ask? Champions League bare minimum, title push, or is that too much?
Yeah, so Postecoglou's come out and said that we will be in a title race. So I don't.
Do you think you'll be in a title race next season?
Look, I'm not the professional. I'm just the pundit like yourself, mate. I know I do my little thing, but with my gaffer is saying that we're going to be in a title race, who am I to judge? So for me, I'll tell you this though, I think Spurs have to. I think Postecoglou next season has to get top 4. We have to be in and around the title race. We have to be in the conversation. I need to be seeing Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher shaking their bum violently for Spurs. And then I think we pick up a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. That would be fine.
Mate, that would be a bloody good season.
We don't need to win the league.
That would be Champions League and a cup. That's a well good season for Spurs, bro.
If we get that, then it's a step in the right direction. But then the following season, Carabao Cup is not enough. It would have to be FA Cup and top 4. And then in his 4th season at Spurs, none of those dusty cups is even acceptable from that point onwards. I am talking Champions League or Prem or both.
Well, listen, that's ambition, man, and I can't knock you for that, bro, because that's what I do is raise the standards and keep them high. So fair play to you, my bro, for doing that. Let's come into the. We ain't got time to do combined 11s, and if I'm honest, I'll put them into the room 101, man. I can't stand them. I'll ask you this instead, actually, before I get your prediction. How many of the Arsenal players would you take into the Spurs team? And I'll tell you who I would take from your Spurs team in my Arsenal team. That's the quickest way to do it, yeah? Because then we're not arguing about each position. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would take maybe about maybe 3 or 4 Arsenal players. I'll take Saliba. I think Saliba has proved me wrong. He's legit. I've got no negative word to say about him. I think Basmati's done a bloody great job for you. And I'll take Partey, to be honest, because Basuma's just been in the nightclub, just breaking bottles. So I'll take Basmati, Partey, Saliba, and Martinelli hasn't been on form. Saka hasn't been on form. Saka and Kulusevski, I can't tell the difference between the two of them, to be honest. You don't have a striker, neither do we. You left them
31 goals and assists is a difference, bro. What Kulusevski got, GA-wise? Saka's got 31 goals and assists. Exactly. Saka radar this season.
Let's not do that. Saka's been dusty by his standards. Kulusevski's dusty. Ben White, I'd rather have Porro. I'm quite happy with Porro. I'm quite happy with Vicario over Raya. Pedro Porro is better than Ben White. I'm happy with Vicario over Raya. I'll take Van de Ven over Gabriel all day long. I'll take your doggy over whoever you got left. Partey over Basuma. Basmati over Sarr. I'm quite happy with Madders over Odegaard. I'll take Son over Martinelli. I'll take Richarlison over Jesus. And maybe Saka over Kuli. That's it. So what is equal? What, 4-5? You would probably do the same. Let's be real.
No,
You'd be lying to yourself if you're not in agreement with me. Then live on your channel tonight, Dan, I would actually accuse you of lying on your own channel.
Well, I'm gonna lie then, because there's no way I'm taking Pedro Porro, who can't defend for his life, over Ben White, who is
attacking wise, he gives more than Ben White does.
As much as. Ben White overlaps. Ben White's quality going forward, right? We're not going to do this. I'll tell you what. I'll be kind, right? I'll be kind to these Spurs fans. I would take a doggy at left back. We've had problems at left back, right?
Can you show some respect to Van de Ven, even if you wouldn't take him? Show some respect.
Yeah. I was actually going to show respect to both of your centre halves, which is surprising to a lot of Arsenal fans. Because I do think Romero is a good centre half, and I do think he needs somebody like Van de Ven alongside him to keep him calm, because he's a bit rash. And if you remember, Saliba coming into this team, Gabriel was a bit rash until we got a calming head like Saliba. So I was going to big them both up. Now I would have Gabriel, Saliba. You've kindly said Saliba, so I'm going to big up your centre halves. But in midfield, I think Partey, Rice, and Odegaard are the 3 that I would have. I'm a big fan of Maddison. If you want to drop Partey out in terms of how injury prone he's been, I'm happy to put Rice, Maddison, and Odegaard in there as the 3, right?
Rice, Maddison, and who?
Odegaard. I'm happy to do that, right?
So you wouldn't put Pape Sarr in there?
Nah.
Or even Bentancur?
Odegaard?
What about even Bentancur?
What about Odegaard?
Ballers, you know, Bentancur.
Who's dropping out? Who's dropping out of that trio then?
Odegaard.
What about Bentancur? Nah, you're trolling, bro. You're trolling. Listen, man. Saka. I'm taking Son as well, obviously, because Son's quality. But that's it, man.
No. Okay, let's do this. No, okay, let's do this. And I know you're legit. Richarlison over Jesus. You have to do a striker, bro. Who would be your number 9?
I can't stand him. Yeah, I can't not stand him. But I'll take him this season over Jesus, because Jesus has been stinky. Right, I'll give you that. But I don't rate him. I don't actually rate him.
You don't need to rate him. We're just saying who we would have.
Poor, man. Jesus has been poor. He's been wasteful. And Richarlison, I think he's got more goals, right? Than Jesus. He has. So there we go. So I can't really sit there and argue. But the others, nah, you're buzzing, man.
But when you break it down like this, you realise that the Tottenham squad ain't that bad.
No, I've never ever said that you've had a shocking squad. I think you. So I tell you why I never had you. Remember you were having this debate with me about you catching us and you were going to be in a title race. The only reason that I said no was because of your injuries and your squad depth, not your first 11. I actually rate your first 11, bro. I think it's a good first 11. But you need now to add to that in the summer, bro, if you want to go next level. So
100%.
that's where I'm at, man. Listen, before we wrap up, bro, it's been fun as always. Give me your score prediction, bro, for I was going to say tomorrow, for Sunday, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm excited. I think I can't believe I'm about to say this. I think Tottenham slap up Arsenal, but I think it makes no difference.
What do you mean by that?
I have a feeling that the stars are aligned for your club. I think Arsenal could win the Prem. But I think you get slapped up by Spurs along the way. So I'm going to say 2-1 Spurs. I think we're so pissed from the Newcastle game. For us, if you want to call it that, and I've got no shame in saying this is our cup final on Sunday. This is it. And I'm not going to lie, if Tottenham beat Arsenal on Sunday, I will shake my bum violently. I mean, it's so bad that I'm considering doing a watch along so people can see it live and direct. You know what I mean? So for me, this is our cup final. Spurs need to win. We draw or we lose the game. I think it's a disgraceful season and questions will need to be asked on Postecoglou. But don't be surprised if Spurs win 2 or 3-1 this weekend.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win. I don't think it's going to be a smash or battering like it was against Chelsea. I respect Tottenham enough to know that form goes out the window and that it's the North London derby. They absolutely want to win. So I'm going to go 2-1 to the Arsenal. What I will say, though, is that those that are saying 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 Arsenal, just be careful because we've done this before and Tottenham have done it before. And it's beating us and it's beating them. Just remember, North London derby form goes out the window. It's going to be tight, but I am going to go for us just to nick it, man. Listen, Deji, it's always a pleasure having you, bro. You always put a smile on my face, bro. Make sure you come follow this guy, man. This guy's doing bits and he's just starting up his own stuff. So make sure you go over and follow him, please. On the description, you'll see Deji Spurs, or just type in Deji Spurs and go subscribe. Make sure you do that and make sure you do this for us as well. Make sure you check out Football Prizes. Smash a like and subscribe on your way out. And come on, you Gunners. Let's go and take.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on.